All right, let's see. Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. My name's Rodrigo. This is twitch.tv/elpikachon. Once again, I'm Rodrigo. This is Smokey, my smoke detector. Hi, Rodrigo. I don't know. There's no one in the chat yet, so it doesn't matter. Oh, there was somebody in the chat, so definitely somebody saw me do that. Hey, Saint JW, what's up? So we are continuing Poison Team. I had this whole idea for what I wanted to do today, but I totally forgot that when we last left Petunia, she was in the middle of an enchanted mushroom forest. Soy Oki, what's up? Lagnus, oh, Rodrigo, I was hoping for a Smokey solo stream. Well, maybe someday. Smokey smokes a lot, so he can't do a lot of long-term streaming. He's just rough on his voice. So anyway, yeah, I had all these plans to do like some Dynamax raids with Petunia, but then we got lost in a mysterious mushroom forest. So I'm like, oh well, I can't do that until I get out of the mushroom forest. There's got to be another way around. Oh, mushroom forest. I guess that's probably the out of the mushroom forest, but I want to get that Pokeball. I don't know which way I need to go to get it. It's not this way. Once again, I don't really know if I'm supposed to be like interacting with these, like if it does anything, or if it's just like cute. Maybe I need to actually go into town and then somehow double back. What's this way? Oh, I already been this way. Okay, so I'm back to like the beginning of the thing. A Phantom. Let's see if I think I already have. Oh, maybe I don't have a Phantom. Let's see what I have here. I'm just gonna throw a Great Ball at it. Yeah, Petunia's back. Trying to navigate the spooky mushroom forest. I could just make a note that I need to get back to grab that item. I really haven't been like looking into like TMs and TRs for my Pokemon to have. We'll just hit it with an Ice Slash. Lagna says, ah yes, a guy in a chef's uniform lurking among the mushrooms. I'm sure he's not a killer. Yeah. The mysterious side of Pokemon is that this mushroom forest is actually a great place to hide a body. Can't go up that way. This way is probably the way out. Yep. That was the way out. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing that sucks is I got into the mysterious mushroom forest, right? And then does this guy attack me if I touch his mushroom? Nope. Oh, yes. Yes, he does. Oh. He knows I have a Shell Bell. Let's Venoshock him. Pokemortar, yes. Soy Oki says, you would think that, but there's no mushroom to hide one. Well, you hide them under the mushrooms, and that's why the mushrooms grow so well, because of all the corpses. Right? Why do you think there's all these like huge healthy mushrooms? It's because of the bodies. And then if you read pretty much any Pokédex entry, they'll tell you how like Pokemon eat people's souls. So it's like, yeah, that's how that happens. Okay, if I go this way, can't go this way. It's a little oh, there's more grass over there. I just need to get past that impy dimpy dimp. Get out of here, impy. Yeah, little impy dimp. Oh, snap. Morgrem. So, as you guys I'm sure know, Impidimp, Morgrem, and Grimmsnarl, I guess, are based on a Celtic fairy tale or a Celtic legend story about a guy who had like lots of hair. But I don't know which one. Lagna says, when did you guys last do a top 5 RPGs? It was a while ago. I think doing top 5 RPGs would be tough because Steven and Matthew don't play the same type of games that I do. So I could easily do top 5 RPGs, but I think it would be a little tougher for them. It's possible that they haven't played 5 RPGs. I mean, Steven probably has. Matthew is like very picky about what he plays. He, you know, he likes his Diablos. And some things here and there. Boost special effect. It can only be used once. Yeah, I pretty much never use these like one-time use attacks. Definitely not in the story mode. Ah! I jumped down at the wrong place. I need to get whatever's in that yellow bow. So yeah, I don't know. It might be tough to do. I know that there have been times when it's like top 5. Ooh, U-turn's a good one. Do I have anybody who can learn U-turn now? U-turn is a very strong move. So anyway, yeah, I don't know that they would actually have. Nope, nobody can learn it. It's probably for the best. It would make it too busted if they could learn it. Let's see. Do I have what do I have in my backpack? Do I have any XP candy? I think I already gave Crud Papers all the XP candy that I have. Oh no, here's some more. Oh yeah, I didn't want to give it too much because I didn't want it to blow past. Should I teach it self-destruct? It might be kind of fun to have that. Let's see, smokescreen, sludge. We'll replace smokescreen with it. As famous influencers who are not cramming everything into 5e, I am now officially curious. Oh, you meant... I'm sorry, I thought you meant video game RPGs. We might be able to do a top 5 RPGs that we've played. Definitely by now, just through Critical Hit, Steven and Matthew have played at least 5 RPGs. Matthews had also played role-playing games like way back in the day when he was playing, so he's got to have some stuff. So yeah, if you're talking about tabletop RPGs, then yeah, we could totally do that. Soyoki says, when are we getting a Super Auto Pets stream? Oh man. My dog can barely keep his energy up to like go out to pee. He's just old, so he's probably not going to do a full stream himself. Let me save here. Okay. Before we get too into Ballon Lee, what I wanted to do... St. JW subscribed. Yo! Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Before we get too far into what's going on at Ballon Lee, which is a pretty trippy mushroom place, what I want to do is I guess, check Pokejobs first. Because I think this time I might actually be able to get my Pokeys out of Pokejob limbo. Let's try the Loto ID. Lagnus says, yeah, I'm talking about tabletop RPGs. I do it so much I forget that many video games are level RPGs. Yeah, literally Pokemon is an RPG, right? So that's what I thought you meant. Let's see if it matches the ID. I didn't get a single match. What the heck, man? That's actually pretty rare. Usually you get at least one digit. Alright, all the psychic kids are back. Job completed. XP points for helping out. Yay. Pokemon you sent helped out with the job but struggled a little. Try sending Pokemon more suited to the job. They just told me that they did excellently. Muna has something to give you. Oh, a heal ball. Nice. Let's get the grass types back, probably. Yeah, here are all the grass types. I'm kind of triggered by seeing Cherubi because it's so hard to find in Legends Arceus that I'm like. But I actually got a what do you call it? A mass outbreak or whatever of Cherubi, so I was able to catch enough to get him in the Pokedex. Only Steel type. Yay. Sorry, Super Auto Pets is a mobile game. Seems like everyone is playing it these days. You might have heard of it. It's kind of like Pokemon Battles, but more simple. Oh. Yeah, no, probably not. Horsepoint Mine says, hey, I finally evolved my Dewott. That's cool. Client seems happier than they've ever been. Wow. Ooh, a Firestone. That's rad. Or it would be if there were any poison Pokemon that cared about Firestones. Alright. You received one nest ball. We'll line up Pokejobs later. What I want to do is move. My cat is causing mayhem. I want to move little Veggies over to the boxes because we're going to try and turn it into a Gigantamax Venusaur. 36, 40, 37, 36. We'll move this guy. Okay. And we'll save. And close. Hang on a second, guys. My cat's causing problems. Yeah, so as you can see, that door does go somewhere. So yeah, I'll probably gonna have to stand up and get the cat back in at some point, but in the meantime, let's go to Pokemon Home. And let's move little Veggies to the box. So when you're saying you evolved your Dewott, you mean you turn it into a Dewott, not you evolve your Dewott into the next stage, right? Shield. Yes. Perfect. Move little Veggies here. Save. Save. Thank you. Let's see if I can access Pokemon Sword without... Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Yep, nope. Obviously I need to change the thing. Give me 1 second. Well, I changed cartridges because Pokemon... I guess we went old school on Pokemon, so we have a cartridge for each. Which makes this a little bit inconvenient when I want to move stuff from Sword to Shield and back. There we go. Horse Point Mine. Oh no, I evolved it into a Samurott. Okay, I somehow managed to be unspoiled on what the new Samurott looked like until now, so I was rushing. Yeah, that could have gone at any moment. Do you like it? Do you like the new design? It's pretty similar to the old design. I would say that I don't know. Are you okay with me talking about like the other two, or do you not want those spoiled either? Because I guess that would be rude of me if I just started talking about the other ones. Oh. Yeah, I need to access the box. Yeah, please, I'm over my last spoiler. Okay, good. So, definitely, I would say Samurott is the one that has like the least change, with Typhlosion kind of being in the middle with like changed a little bit, and that his like attitude changed, but not much else. Like his flames are a little different. And then like Decidueye basically looks like a completely different Pokemon, right? It's like he has like a little hat and he's got other stuff going on. It's pretty weird. Typhlosion looks so sad. He's not, if you look at his animations and stuff, he's not sad, he's just like sleepy. Yeah, let's stick little Veggies in the Bruisers category for now. I was surprised by how similar Typhlosion and Samurott were to the originals. Yeah, I honestly, I was expecting a bigger change. For Samurott, I was actually expecting like, okay, here's like... Get out of here, guy. What's this guy doing here? I was actually expecting that they would do something closer to Dewott. Like, I thought that we're going to be like, okay, well, so that we do something different, instead of it turning into a seal, we're just going to keep it as like a big like river otter or something. But no, they actually kept it pretty similar. Horsepoint Mine says, I've always been really down on Samurott because I really like Oshawott, and the what being otters, it always felt like a big weird departure. Yeah, me too. In fact, funny thing that we're talking about this now, and you not wanting to be spoiled on your starter. This is something that I've talked about on stream before, but when I was playing is like black white, right? When I was playing black 2, I was like, I don't want to get spoiled, so picked uh, I picked the otter, and I didn't look at the final evolution. And then when I realized what the final evolution was going to be, and it was funny because I didn't look up what the final evolution was. I was just like, my brother was watching an episode of the anime, and Samurott was in it. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow, that Pokemon looks really stupid. And then, like a wave of dread, it hit me, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, is that what, like, Oshawott turns into? And sure enough, it was. So I got it to Dewott, and then I, like, stopped evolving it. I was like, I don't want that. Like, I thought, in those days, I wasn't trying to fill out the Pokedex. But I was like, I don't want that stupid seal. I don't think it looks good. It's like, if you like Samurott, that's fine. You know, I'm not saying that you got bad taste or anything. Like, it's fine. It's a fine Pokemon, but I don't like it. So, where am I going? Give me that Giganto juice. So, yeah, I was like, from here on out, I will always check what the starters turn into, because I don't want to go through that again. And in fact, because like when they showed Oshawott and rumors started to circulate that the final evolution was bigger, I was like, oh, maybe finally this will be like redemption for that. Maybe they'll give it a form that I actually like. But Samurott doesn't look that different, so I was like, I'll just pick Typhlosion. Let's see. Horsepawn Mine says, yeah, I was hoping for the otter theme to be continued, but I've come around. I like my new Samurott well enough. Yeah, sure. I felt exactly the same when I first played White. I used the Watt for a while and then just subbed it out for out of my team. Yep, me too. I've always felt like I'd like Samurott a lot more if it was its own line. Definitely. Lagnus says, not trying to fill out the Pokedex, but you gotta catch them all. Well, Nintendo has actually, or like Pokemon actually hasn't used the phrase gotta catch them all in a very long time. And that's because the game doesn't encourage you to catch them all. And in fact, they're kind of trying to discourage people from thinking that they have to catch them all. Because, because it's, they want to do stuff like how in Pokemon Sword and Shield, some of the Pokemon just aren't here, right? There are Pokemon that are still not in this game. So they're trying to get away from that. Soyoki says, I felt the same about Grookey and its final Evo. Sure. Lagnus says a catchphrase that sounds creepier and creepier each year. Yep. Zemzi says, how many there are? You mean like how many Pokemon are there in Sword and Shield? I don't know. Let's see. I think I have my Pokédexes complete with this game. Yeah. There are so many. So yeah, there's like 400, then 206, then 196. But I think some of those there might be some overlap. Yeah, I know that Toxicroak was in the original Pokédex, so actually it's kind of hard to tell. We'd have to look it up, but yeah. There are so many Pokemon that it's very difficult for someone to catch them all. It's actually pretty much impossible, unless you're willing to spend a lot of time and actually a lot of money. Yeah, there's actually, I think there's more than 800 now. So, yeah, it's like, you can't catch them all. Don't even try. why don't you do something else instead? Is kind of the catchphrase now. Okay, back to Pokemon Home. Let's see if we can connect to Shield without putting the disc in or the card in. I believe we've cracked 900. Yeah, I think there's more than 800. We may have cracked 900 now, with probably with the handful of new Pokemon that we got from Arceus, like Ursaluna and uh, Cleavor, right? Yeah. Let's see. Move this from this. All this hot moving boxes action. Okay. Save. That's the Ghastly that I've prepared. So eventually we'll get a Ghastly in. But then I like actually started to think about it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to trade with someone to turn that into a Gengar. So, oh wait, let me see if I can access Shield. Ooh, I can access Shield's boxes even if the thing isn't there. That's good. That, I mean, it doesn't save me a step now because I do want to go back to Shield, but can you guys hear my cat like screaming outside? Hang on a second. I gotta let her back in. Soy okay? Is it Soy okay or is it Soy oki? Last time I completed the Pokedex was XY, and that took forever. It involved spreadsheets, going to McDonald's to get Hoopa, and lots of trades with friends. For Mythics, I had no way of actually getting, yeah. Like, I have never completed the National Dex, and I'm not planning on it. Like, that's something that I'm just allowing myself to not have to do, right? And, like, there's people who want a shiny National Dex, and I'm like, geez. And you know, obviously they want, like, regional variants and... you know, like, yeah, like Pokemon that can only be gotten through, like, GameStop rewards or whatever. It's a mess. Changing out the game. Gonna play Shield. Here we go. So yeah, again, I you know, spent a fair amount of time talking about Legends Arceus because it's the new hotness, and as you can see, you know, obviously I've been playing it. There's a lot of Pokemon going on in this house. My wife plays Pokemon Snap too, and by extension, I play Pokemon Snap because sometimes she just hands me the controller for me to play, which is fine. Not because I'm better at it. Actually, I am significantly worse than her at it. I think she just wants to involve me. Um, the name is both ways. I like how it means different things in Spanish and English. Porque hablo los dos. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm into that. Yeah, definitely. There's very few things that you can do that work out in English and Spanish, so that's cool. What was I talking about? I forgot. That's okay. Something Pokemon. Okay, let's... I guess she doesn't have... I guess he doesn't have to be in the party, but... Let's go try and get into some raids, some max raids. And see if we can try out what's the gym in Ballon Lee? Oh, it's a fairy gym. Yeah, actually, probably the easiest. You'd expect that it would be the easiest challenge for us. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, let's try. Let's start out down here and see what we can find. You can only get the shiny legendary if you buy NFTs using Dogecoins. Yeah, definitely not. Like, we definitely, like, I don't know if you guys listen to the Major Spoilers podcast, but Steven made this, like, mock announcement that we were going to get into NFTs. We're not. He was just joking and trying to trick people. But he said it, like, really straightforward, and it's like, you right now with like NFT stuff, it feels like no one is safe. Let's just obliterate this Metapod. So yeah, like a lot of people like just paused the podcast immediately and went on Discord to ask or sent him an email or whatever, and it's like, are you really getting into that? And he had to be like, no. And he's just pleased as punch about it. Like, he's just like, hee, ha, 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 like kicking his little feet. Like, people fell for it. But it's like, for serious, it's like, you just don't know, right? It's like, there'll be like a celebrity that you are into or you like or whatever. And then now they're into NFTs. So that sucks. All right, let's try out this Gigantamax. Yeah, let's try out this Gigantamax Venusaur. See what that looks like. Gmax Vine Lash. That's for 130. That's for 140. So we'll do this one. We will wreck this Metapod. Hwah! Bra, bra, bra. What do you guys think of the Gmax Venusaur design? I like it. I think actually all three of the Kanto starters have a pretty good Gmax design. Wow, that... I guess actually bug types resist grass types, so that's probably why it didn't just destroy it. Let's see. Lagnus says, that was so funny, I lost it during the silence. Yeah. Horsepawn Mine says, my biggest current fear is that they might be giants will do an NFT. Yeah, that would be upsetting. Lagnus says, I am sorry, but I also like to deliver jokes with a straight face and move on. Well, you know, Steven is like I said, Steven's pleased as punch about it, so hopefully we didn't actually lose any listeners in the process. Horsepoint Mine says, I feel like a lot of Gmax designs are right on the edge of over design, and I kind of love it. Yeah, Gmax designs are like supposed to be like busier, right? There's just like, because the Pokemon's bigger, there's more room to do stuff. Soyoki says, they're okay. Snorlax Gigantamax cracks me up. Yeah, that's really what I like, is when they kind of take a big risk with the design, like with Snorlax. I would argue with like Blastoise, since Blastoise just like has their, like, completely has its back to the guy you're fighting, and it's just full of guns. What's another one? I like that they changed like the physicality of Toxtricity, right? It goes from this like bipedal thing to this quadrupedal thing. What else? So for Garbodor, like, I mean, I don't love Garbodor. His Gmax form, I was like, oh, this is cool. He's like a giant pile of trash. So there's like boats and stuff stuck to him. But then I got a better look at it, and it's like those are all clearly like toy things. So it's like he's got toys stuck to him, and then when he grows, they grow as well. I was like, I would have liked a lot more if it was like the implication was that like he's a giant pile of trash like trawling around the ocean, and like boats and airplanes have gotten stuck to him. But you know, it's all good. Yeah, we might as well try and catch it. Uh, Lagna says, while watching football, I get US ads, Tom Brady and Matt Damon buying cryptocurrency. Right, I believe it. I'm sure the contract has them getting paid in cryptocurrency and not millions of dollars. Yeah, right. Horse Pond Mine says, we all know Rodrigo loves it when a Pokemon becomes more of a big monster guy. Yeah, absolutely. I really do. Um, it's like a good example is like Mega Evolutions, right? Um, See, this is what we're hunting for, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary peeps. Those sweet, sweet XP candies. Um, Metapod. Even though it is encased in a sturdy shell, the body inside is tender. It can't withstand a harsh attack. No. Sent to a box. Yeah, so like Mega Evolutions, right? Some Mega Evolutions turn the Pokemon more into like a person, and I don't like that. And some Mega Evolutions turn the Pokemon more into a monster, and those are the ones I like. Sandstorms are fine. Like, it's cool to be able to catch certain Pokemon in a sandstorm, but man, I hate them for visibility. Ooh. Oh, perfect. Let's see. Zemsi says, I love the Mega Evolutions. Yeah. Soyoki says, is that a Gigantamax Meowth, or are you just happy to see me? Gigantamax Meowth is a long boy. I really enjoyed Blaziken Mega Evolution. Yeah, that's an example of something just like getting more intense. Let's not invite others. Lagna says, time for bed. If tonight is critical hit time, have fun. And if it isn't, still have fun. Later, people. Yeah, I think we're not recording tonight, but yeah, good night. Have a good time. Thanks for stopping by. Rawr. Here we go. By the power of my Dynamax band, you are G-Max Venusaur. Huh. Kablam. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna... This guy's probably at a point where he gets shields, so we're probably not gonna one-shot him. But it'd be kind of cool if we did. Yeah. Ground, rock, so he's like 4 times weak to grass. Yeah. Yeah, that's the deal with raids. There's a certain point at which the Pokemon's... when you lower a Pokemon's hit points... A raid Pokemon's hit points to a certain degree, it'll stop. Like, you can't deal any more damage to it, and it'll get its shields up, and then you can start dealing damage to it again. There are times when, like, the shield is delayed, so you'll knock it all the way down, a shield won't come up, then someone else will attack it, and it'll do no damage, because it's still waiting for the shield to go up before it's allowed to, like, take more damage. So it's interesting. I've definitely been on a lot of raids, so I've got a pretty good sense for what all happens. Soyoki says, yeah, I've got to roll too. Cuídate. Bye, gracias. Ferocious beating. Yeah, Gmax Vine Lash. It's funny because Gmax Vine Lash actually has a pretty funny animation when it does like that recurring damage, but you don't get to see it in the max raids. You have to be playing like a competitive game against or basically it has to be against like a normal sized Pokemon, and then you get to see the vines be like. Yeah, let's catch this guy. This guy probably wants to be in a Great Ball. Zappadoo! Okay. All right. So, as you might notice, if you were here in the last handful of streams, if you were here, I think in the very last stream that I did before this, then you saw me try to like troubleshoot it, but I haven't been able to get the closed captioning to work. Really, it's not that the closed captioning isn't working, it's that the Elgato is like weirdly interfering with it. So I need to figure that out. I haven't sorted it out yet. So for now, no closed captioning. But we'll try to get it back up pretty soon. Let's see. Right on. Protected by an armor-like hide, it is capable of living in molten lava of 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. Would you like to give it a nickname? No. Send to a box. I like Rhydon a lot as a Pokemon. Again, all of those Gen 1, like, ground rock types, it's like ground and rock is really not a great type combination. Just because it's like 4 times weak to both water and grass. So, you know, that sucks. But, you know, the thing that they're really good at is like wrecking just like regular rock types, right? It's like, here's a Pokemon that resists attacks from normal types, and actually, if it goes toe-to-toe with another rock type, it'll probably win. Oh no, there's a lake in the way. Gonna have to take the long way. Crustle, I think. Should probably try and catch some of these guys. Ooh, a Steelix. How many watts I got? 6,000. I'm gonna buy a couple wishing pieces. That's probably not what I should be buying at this stage in the game, but whatever. Whatever, man. You're not the boss of me. I don't even know what level those Pokemon are. Alright, let's see what's in here. Oh, it's a little Clobopus or whatever. Let's switch Pokemon. So here's another thing. Here's one weird trick, right? When you go into a den raid, whatever Pokemon you bring in is completely healed, and their PP comes back completely. Like their power points is what I mean. So weirdly, if you're out in the wild, one thing, and you've gotten beaten up, one thing you can do is try to go into a raid and see if you actually come out better. But, you know, it's pretty rare that you won't be able to fly back to a Pokemon Center or whatever. So it's not something that's like super helpful, but it's still okay. See, I wish that the first time through that I played, I understood what max raids were and how they worked. Because I would have loved to have a Clobopus right at the beginning of the game. Like, when I first started playing Pokemon Sword, I was looking through the new Pokemon, and I was like, ah, Clobopus is so cute, and he turns into, like, a perfectly reasonable like octopus guy. Um, that's who I want to be my fighting type for this game. And sure enough, you don't encounter one until like way late in the game. And I was like, I already had other fighting types, or my party was already. See, that's what I'm talking about. My party was kind of already full, or rather, my party maybe didn't need a fighting type because it was getting coverage from other stuff. So I just kind of never got to have that early Clobopus. And of course, here I am pretty early in the game, potentially getting a Clobopus. But this is a poison type run, Clobopus. We don't do that. Oh, I don't know if this ball is going to work. That'd be funny if I ended up not catching it because of that. Yeah, I never found out if like it's like dusk balls have a higher catch rate underground. And I'm like, every max rate is underground. Does that mean that all dusk balls, like dusk balls, always have that higher catch rate underground or during raids? I don't know. If they did, that would be good. Clobopus. Its tentacles tear off easily, but it isn't alarmed. When that happens, it knows they'll grow back. It's about as smart as a 3-year-old. Aw, you're cute, Clobopus. You're gonna go in the box forever. No. Sent to a box. Clobopus has been sent to a box. Let me look at said box, because I bet it's getting kind of cluttered. No, those are items. Yeah. So here's another trick. You can switch to a multi-select. You can switch to a multi-select. Why isn't it letting me drop it? Here's another trick that apparently just straight up won't work. Oh, I know maybe why it didn't work. Anyway, yeah, you can select multiple Pokemon, right? And then if you want the thing to just fit them somewhere, like let's say that like this box was a lot less like kept up and there were just like random Pokemon like in random boxes, right? So then if I wanted to move these guys in here, I would just go to the box list and then go to that box 3 and it'll place them basically in order on each of those squares. See? Why isn't it working? Is my controller dying? Like, this is supposed to work. You know what, guys? Forget it. This trick does not work up here. Yeah, so it worked there. Why doesn't it work here? Okay, never mind. I thought I was teaching you guys something clever. That doesn't work at all. I swear that works on my on like shield or the sword version for some reason. You can't multi-select drop into your party, which I hate very much. I think maybe you can, but they have to be lateral, right? It's like you can select if your party only has like 2 or 3 Pokemon in it. You line up the Pokemon up and down, and then you can move them into your party. I guess we could try it right now, but I don't know. For some reason, this stuff that I thought super could work doesn't. So let's see. We can definitely multi-select to move off the party. Right? So let's try and see if we can multi-select to move them into the party. Yeah, it's not letting me, but there we go. Yeah, you can do that. They just have to be up and down, right? So if you're gonna end up like lining them up in your box anyway, then there's no point unless you just like Unless you start just like keeping your Pokemon going up and down, then you could just do that, right? That's something. It's interesting. No, I don't open the Pokedex. That's not what that's not what I wanted. I don't know why I never thought to try that. I literally only ever did it horizontally. Yeah, it's, you know, like there are all these tricks to Pokemon, and some games have them and some games don't. I'm literally only talking about this one because here, I just gotta figure out why that wasn't working. Yeah, so see, it worked that time. I don't know if I was pressing the wrong button or what. But yeah, I remember that because I've been playing Legends Arceus, and I was like, I wonder if you can do that thing where like you can just drop multi-select Pokemon and then just drop them into the box, and it will like place them into different squares, and it does. You can actually do that in Legends Arceus as well. All right, when you see a pink swirly beam like this, it means that the Pokemon inside has a higher likelihood of having a secret ability. I think that's all. I don't think it cares about egg moves or anything. But yeah, it's just a higher likelihood of a secret ability. Oh. It's grass, so it's... Yeah, let's go ahead and try. I mean, it's a 2-star thing, so it's very likely that low Veggies will just go first and obliterate it. Don't invite others. Yeah, Pokemon has lots of little tricks like that. I watched a YouTuber, a little Toxel. I watched a YouTuber, and they're just like, oh, hang on, first I need to make some room in my inventory on Legends Arceus. And they were just like with one button, they were moving like 100% of an item. So an item with like 6 things, they weren't having to like either open the menu or say move them all, or open the menu and tell how many to move. And I'm like, how do you do that? And apparently if you do it with X, it just automatically sends the whole thing out. So I'm like, oh, wow, that's something that I would have never thought to do. Even though the command is at the very bottom of the screen and you can see it, I would have probably not done that for, you know, another few months until I like looked at it and was like, oh, let me try this. So, you know, there's always all these little tricks. All right, here we go. Gmax Vine Lash on this little baby Toxel. This will be good because this is actually going to give us poison type technical records. So we might, well, I guess it could give us electric type records, which won't be as useful, but we'll see. Kablamo! It's not very effective. Oh, thanks, Martin. So helpful. Kablamo. Yeah, another thing that's good about raids is that you don't get any XP in them. And you're like, well, why is that good? It's like, well, I don't want to, like right now, I don't want to out-level my... yeah, I don't want to out-level the gyms, right? I don't want to show up and have the characters be level 50 against a level 35 gym or whatever. So doing max raids allows me to get resources without actually having the Pokemon grow. So that's helpful. Boop. Would you like to give Toxel a nickname? He is a poison type, but not for now. We'll give him something later if we end up using him or whatever. We already have another Toxel that we caught. I guess I could look up and see if it has a hidden ability. Why do I keep going into my backpack? It's like, well, that's where I keep my Pokeballs, but that's not the right menu. Oh, where is he? Static. Let me pull up the browser. Toxel DB. It's like I know a lot of people go to like Cerebi or other places, but I really like how like clean this interface is. Like a lot of the other stuff is like really cluttered. Like Bulbapedia will just give you like you just have to like scroll through all of the like anime story and like the general story of the Pokemon, and it's like I just want to see what its thing is. So even though it was a raid Pokemon, this guy only has the or doesn't have the hidden ability, which would be Klutz, which would then turn into Technician. Right? Technician's a good ability. I like it a lot, but it's hard to find a good place for it. Toxtricity has access to some moves that are very good with Technician. Technician basically turns moves with 60 power or less into moves with like higher, like basically you get half again as much power. So a 60 power move becomes a 90 power move. And unlike a lot of other Pokemon with Technician, Toxtricity has a lot of access to a good handful of moves like that. Okay. Horsepawn Mine says, I have always gone to the inventory screen to get my Pokemon. I kind of like that they put the two together in Legends Arceus. Yeah, I don't know what that says about how I treat my Pokemon, but they're in Pokeballs. You keep the, like, your protagonist keeps their Pokemon on him in their backpack. Like, it makes sense. Zemsi says, yeah, Bulbapedia is just what it says, a wiki, so it has all the minutia. Yeah. And, you know, it's fine if you want to, like, figure out when, like, a Pokemon's first appearance was in the anime. That's all fine. But... okay, looks like we got another beam over there. But, yeah, if you're looking for, you know, if you're looking for stats for the game, then yeah, it doesn't or you just have to get through a lot of clutter to get to it. What was that? Oh, I really thought that was a shiny Butterfree. And I'm like, can you even see shinies in the overworld in Sword and Shield? I don't know that you can. Psychic Flying. Wow, this would be a terrible matchup for low Veggies. So let's see what else we have. I guess there's always Dr. Violet with the yep, as a dark type. Actually, yep, this will be great. Because it'll nullify. Flying doesn't do anything particularly bad to it, and it'll nullify the psychic side of things. Don't invite. Doing raids. Swoobat! I'm gonna catch you and send you to do a job for me. Night Slash, Sucker Punch, about the same, so I'll do this. Giant, giant, giant skunk! Giant skunk says, stay in school, kids! Oh, it's faster. Thinks he's fancy. Bupe. Max jerkness. Yeah, see, it gets it to a point, like, this would have completely killed it if it didn't have that, basically, that shield stopping point, right? It gets to a certain point and then it puts up its shields. At higher star levels, they either start with a shield or their first shield level is like very early into the bar. So even if you hit them really hard for super effective damage, it'll only go down a little bit before their first shield clicks on. At lower 3 and lower star levels, they either only have one shield towards the end or towards the middle, or at like 1 and 2 stars, I think they just don't have, like at 1 star they just don't have a shield at all. They just go down like absolute chumps. Yeah, unfortunately, you know, we got to Balon Lee and there's not any there aren't any Pokemon boutiques there, so we can't change, you know, haircut and or clothes. We have to get to like the next town, I think, which is like the Ice Town. I think it's Sirchester is called. But I also feel like here pretty soon we're gonna get like really sidetracked with the plot, so we're probably not gonna get to certain towns for a little while. Yeah, way to go, Togepi, using a big old rock type move. There we go. Now let's go ahead and catch it. See, this guy will definitely go in a Duskfall, because it's a nighttime Pokemon. Choo. Yeah, so I had been trying to get the closed captioning to work and it wasn't working, and Steven suggested that I use, he actually gave me a few suggestions, but that was yesterday while we were recording Major Spoilers podcast. So I haven't had time to implement them, so that's why I'm not doing closed captioning right now. Subat, the auspicious shape of this Pokemon's nose apparently led some regions to consider Subat a symbol of good luck before they realized it was a horrible pest. No. Well, let's send it to a box. Alright. Let me just real quick eat something to keep my sugar under control. I will be right back. Zemzy says, when I was a kid, I thought that the longer a battle went on, the more XP my Pokemon would get. Oh man, that's terrible. That's a terrible notion to have. I'm sorry. But yeah, as a kid, you like believe a lot of stuff, right? It's like when you catch something, you're like like pressing, like super pressing the button because like maybe that'll help, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, I'll be right back. Just trying to spare everybody the sound of me like munching on a granola bar. All right. Any other beams over here? Yep. You see that Gyarados over there? That was cute. Pokeball. Cooking at your camp can restore HP to your Pokemon, and even the BP they need to use their moves over and over. Visit berries to collect plenty of berries so you can always make more curries. That's a weird thing to just... Is this the very first berry tree you encounter? That's funny. It must be like something that triggers when you approach this tree. And it's like, I've never seen that before. Check him out. Check him out. Nice. I'll call that good. Oran berries, cherry berries, pecha berry. That's cool. Yep, see? The large Pokemon you see wandering around in the wild area are strong. If you try battling one and it seems like you're in over your head, try to run. Run like the wind. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess... Yeah, there's those, like... The first thing you encounter is that Onyx and then that berry tree. But I always skip them. I'm always like, nope. And I always, like, go around in a different direction. So the game expects that those are going to be, like, the first thing that you head to. But apparently it was not. And now I've played, like, one whole, like, go-round of that game. And then now I'm on the second one. And this is, like, either the first time I've encountered it, or I guess I could have just forgotten having encountered it the first time around. But I'm pretty sure I didn't go straight for that Onyx. Onyx! Well, luckily, little Veggies is itching for a fight. Slam a jam. All right. Sorry to eat on stream. Just, trying to keep that old body under control. I'm actually just gonna try catching on the regular Pokeball. It's like whatever. If he wants to come along, he can come along. Otherwise, yeah, get to stepping, Yeah, there's actually a lot of weird folk wisdom about Pokemon that isn't true. There's also like straight up like legends about Pokemon. You guys ever hear about the whole like Lavender Town thing? Let me see if I can find it. Town, yeah, is it Syndrome? Let's see. Lavender Town Syndrome. Lavender Town Syndrome was an eerie phenomenon rumored to afflict young Japanese children who played Pokemon in 1996. Here's what you need to know. Fans who grew up playing the first series of Pokemon games on the Nintendo Game Boy are likely to recall a spooky setting of Lavender Town, home to the seven-story Pokemon Tower, filled with gravestones of deceased Pokemon. I guess I can show you guys this page since I'm looking at it. Pay no attention to the ads. These people are not sponsoring El Pikachu. Although today, the tower is a location where players can encounter ghost-type Pokemon as well as Cubone, a Pokemon that isn't a ghost but does have its own dark history. The entire town gives off a creepy vibe with its seemingly calming yet jarring high-pitched chiptune music. Although today's players of all ages have enjoyed the Pokemon series, it's primarily aimed at kids, with the playable characters of each game being blah 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 blah. Fans have come up with numerous theories or rumors around the kid-friendly franchise. One such rumor revolves around how the unsettling music of Lavender Town caused physical harm or even suicide among the young Japanese children who played the first version of the game. Yep, so after their release in Japan on February 27th of 96. The rumor claims the children suffer from a series of ailments, including headaches, nosebleeds, insomnia, irritability, and even rumored 200 or so child suicides in the spring of 1996, specifically after experiencing Lavender Town's high-pitched music. This phenomenon has since been dubbed Lavender Town Syndrome. It first appeared in 2010 on Creepypasta, a website known for compiling horror and urban legend stories. It has since been updated with a surmised version. Anyway, it's not true. It's definitely not true. But even though it's not true, it actually is still actually a weirdly popular urban legend, and I know that because a few years ago, when Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee came out, I was visiting my family, and one of my nephews, when we got to Lavender Town, told me, is like, hey, did you know that some kids died from listening to the music in Lavender Town? And I'm like, it's like, that's a rumor, and that rumor's been around forever. So it's kind of amazing that like this like very relatively young kid like gave that rumor back, right? Like basically continues to spread it. So it's like, yeah, because Pokemon is such a popular franchise, it has these like weird folks, like it, just by the fact that it's lived for what 20 something years, rapidly approaching 30, it kind of accrues these legends, that are probably not true. A horse spawn mine says, heck yeah, Lavender Town scared me a lot, and I didn't learn about it till high school. I was a rube. Well, I mean, that just means that the rumor didn't get to you, right? It's like we didn't used to have the internet back in the 90s. So rumors like that it's actually kind of amazing that a rumor like that could have spread, although I think what they're saying is that the rumor actually came into existence really in the early 2000s rather than, like, because it's not true. It was easier to tell this story in retrospect, right? All right, let's look at Onyx. It rapidly bores through the ground at 50 miles per hour by squirming and twisting its massive, rugged body. Rapidly bores is right. Oh, sick burn to Onyx. No nickname, sent to a box, please. Thank you. Yeah, that would be an intense game if they made Pokemon Legends Lavender Town. People would be like, "What?" Oh, Sandstorm. How I hate you. It's like, where even am I? Okay. I don't see any more beams on this side, so let's try and check the other side. Yep. Get him! That would be the real Pokemon Dark Souls crossover. Yep. It's like or like if they did like a, what was that game called where you had to like Doki Doki Literature Club or something, right? I don't remember, something Literature Club where it's like the game's like messed up and you have to get into like the save files and stuff to Jeebus. Wow. That was a lot of spawns all of a sudden. Oh, a lot of aggressive spawns. Heatmore heard what I said about him. I think, yeah, last time we did the psychic, yeah. Last time we did the poison run, I was talking about how Heatmore was kind of stupid. Actually, no. This critter actually doesn't have a poison type attack besides toxic, so. Psychic, but it's got bug. What do I want to send here? Bug, poison. Okay, we'll do this. The Great NATO says, well, hello, sir. Have an hour to kill, so need to see what all the fuss is about. Hey, the Great NATO. Just hanging out, playing Pokemon. We were talking about, like, Pokemon Legends. Not Pokemon Legends Arceus, but the some of the legends that people have come up with around Pokemon. And we're talking about Lavender Town Syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But the idea was that, like, a bunch of kids died from hearing Lavender Town's like little chiptune music, like they either committed suicide or like became aggressive or whatever. It's not true. It's absolutely not true. But it's one of those legends that like persist today. Like some like people, there's a lot of people out there who still believe that actually happened. Let's not invite anybody. So yeah. Yeah, exactly like Pop Rocks and Coke. It's very much an urban legend. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's similar to it. I mean, obviously, you know, nowadays with the internet, that stuff spreads even more quickly, right? I think Max Rockfall is the move here. Yeah, it's like the immense popularity of Slender Man, right? It's like for kids getting into the internet today, if they encounter anything any Slenderman fiction, they might think that this is actually like an actual legend. I mean, and it is an actual legend, but a legend that like predates the internet or the modern era or whatever. But no, right? It was like created in like 2008 or something, not 2000, but probably earlier. But you know what I mean. All of these urban legends that develop in the internet are pretty interesting. You know, they kind of tell us a little bit about the people making them and why we kind of want to believe them. Um, but yeah, there's a I guess there's a Reddit for like one word scary, like not one word, but like one sentence scary stories, or like maybe two sentence scary stories. And um, there's a Twitter account that finds all like the really bad ones. That's pretty funny. It'll be like somebody like clearly trying to be creepy and it just like doesn't work. Maybe like it's like yeah, it's like I was writing in a shared Google document and then like a surly panther showed up because that's what the shared Google Doc stuff calls you, and it's like, but I didn't invite anybody. Who was that person? And it's like, yeah, that's not scary. Like somebody just like randomly showing up. I mean, it's weird because if you didn't give him permission, but still, it's like that's not actually scary. Horsepoint Mine says, according to my quick Google, Slenderman is from 2009, which is so wild. Absolutely. Great Nato just subscribed. You give me your Prime sub? Give me your Prime subs. They're delicious. Yeah. It's like you want to think that because it's a legend, that it's very old. But in fact, these things tend to develop, and when they catch on, they have that. It's like the things that catch on have that timelessness to them, right? It's like, especially now when you think of Lavender Town Syndrome, you know, it's like I first played Pokemon when I was a teenager, and now I'm rapidly approaching 40, just at a breakneck speed. So it's been so long, right? It's like my nephews who are kids, well, actually they're teenagers now, um, but were kids when they brought this up to me the first time. Um, you know, 1999 or 96 or whatever seems like a thousand years ago. Like when I was a kid and people talked about the 60s, you know, it was just like so immensely long ago. And it's like, well, that's 1999 now. It's like all of these things that that supposedly happen have that air of something that could have happened. Just like if somebody tried to like make up a new ghost story back in those days, it would have been like, back in the 50s, this happened. Like now, people are like, back in the 90s, this happened. And people believe it because it was so long ago. Even people who lived through the 90s are like, you know, that sounds like, yeah, that actually kind of sounds like something that did happen, right? So it's like, wow. Oh no! This bug is tough. That's not good. Yeah, I think one more knockout and we're done. So we're probably gonna get blown out of this one. Unless the Snorlax holds the line or I get a really good cheer. Okay, that's, well, no. They didn't need a reflect, they need a light screen. Okay, yep, we are out of here. 96 was the release of Pokemon. First games came out on my second birthday. Oh, okay, your second birthday. I was like, wait, your second birthday that year? I was like, oh no, you mean you were 2. Okay, thanks, Zal. Whoa, look at that monster. I should, which one's the thing? We'll try to save a video of that. Hopefully it caught that. Alright. See, now if you look at my Pokemon, remember how I said that if you go into a max raid, your Pokemon stats are reset? It's like, Well, I guess I didn't use any of these. So let's see what state Power Nap is in. Oh, I actually can't see its life bar. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. St. Jado says, I was buying Pokemon games for my kids. I feel old. It's okay. Zal says, yeah, and I'm turning 28 in like 2.5 weeks. Yeah, so you're like just a little bit older than Pokemon. So that's a good way to keep track of it. I mean, just Pokemon itself is a good example, right? I've talked about it before, where like my nephews were like, have you ever heard of this thing called Pokemon? And I was like, yeah. Like I said, I was there when Mewtwo first escaped, dude. I know all about Pokemon. I'm literally older than Arceus. So, yeah, of course I've heard about this Pokemon thing. Okay, let's try something else. We're going to try this one again, but we'll try it with peppers. And see if, like, some fire-type attacks will, like, dent it. Zal says, the Great Nido says, I got married in 97. Yeah, so your anniversary is about as old as Pokemon, so that's another good way to remember it. Right? Because that's the important thing, is remembering when Pokemon started, not your anniversary. That's incidental. Although that would be funny if you were like one of those like people that needed those association, and you were like, what's my anniversary? Okay, so I got married a year before Pokemon Red and Green debuted in the United States. Therefore, you know. Zal says slightly older than Pokemon, slightly younger than MTG. Yes. Yeah, the 90s, you know, it's like, again, when we were living through the 90s, you don't know what's going to stick, right? Weirdly, this is what stuck, is Pokemon stuck, Magic the Gathering stuck. They are both now huge franchises. Obviously, Magic the Gathering is just like nowhere near the amount of popularity that Pokemon has, right? Pokemon has really transcended a lot of markets, and because of that staying power, that means that now there are adults that like Pokemon as well as kids that like Pokemon. Although Magic the Gathering, in a way, is partially responsible for Pokemon's popularity, because one of the entry vectors to Pokemon is the card game, which used to be made by Wizards of the Coast. Like, Pokemon actually approached them to make the Pokemon game. So in its early life, the Pokemon game was made by Wizards of the Coast, and eventually it just kind of went off and did its own thing, or I don't know if it went to a different company. Is that a weirdly sexy lizard? Yep, sexy lizard is back. Yeah, it's so weird, right? I mean, I guess, like, you can have a Machop being, like, very manly, so maybe you can have, like, a weird lizard being very curvy, but it's weird. Alright, assist Pokemon. I'm gonna have to, like, ask you to just pull your weight here. Zal says, Neon Dynasty tomorrow on Arena. I'm ready to crack some packs. Yeah, me too. I've been looking forward to it. So, tomorrow, I got work tomorrow, so I probably won't do it until, like, pretty late. But, yeah, I'll try to get some in. Hopefully I can do an MTG stream that somehow features Neon Dynasty, but I'm just so bad at drafting. Like, just so bad at drafting. The Green Arrow says, so the battles are virtual. There's a little side character in Sun and Moon where, or Horsepawn Mind says, there's a little side character in Sun and Moon where a guy is dressing up as a Machamp to pick up chicks, and I really hate it. Nice. Zemzi says, not gonna lie, I am kind of itching to run some small C cyberpunk stuff. Sure, yeah. Zal says, I am also terrible at draft. God, I'm so bad at it. Like just so bad. Um, and that's the thing is like because it's an archetype that like requires you to buy in. Like the more successful you are, the less money you have to spend. So you actually have to spend a lot of money until you get good. So that's kind of why I don't play it. This guy's gonna want something bigger than a Pokeball. Great Ball. Yeah. Simpson says, I've always been bad at synergy and recognizing stuff in card games. Yeah, I think that's me too. I get like I get caught up on like how cool a given card is or whatever. It's like it's hard for me to gauge that strength. Like drafting requires a whole set of skills that I kind of refuse to develop. Um, I mean, I don't refuse to develop them, but like when I put together my like wonky decks, technically now for historic, um, it's like I can look at a card and gauge its value for that deck to a certain degree. You know, obviously you still want to test it out, but you know that's a format that has tons of removal. That's a format that has all of these tricks, that has creatures that can, you know, that have hexproof and stuff like that. In draft, like all of those equations change, right? It's like you can get your butt handed to you by a 2/2 vanilla creature that just hits you 10 times, right? Or whatever, 40 or yeah, whatever, 20 times. I don't know. You know what I mean. All right, let's look at Orbeetle. It emits psychic energy to observe and study what's around it, and what's around it can include things over 6 miles away. Oh. No. Sent to a box. Zal says, I used like 2 of the 3 free draft tokens I had saved up getting for mastery passes like 2 weekends ago. One went terrible, one was alright. Yeah, I just like... This tube just keeps on lighting up. That's cool. Yeah, it's like... Sometimes I luck out and I just get very good cards. And then it's like I win the draft on the back of those cards, right? As opposed to because I'm good or because I actually picked out the right things to complement it. Is like those cards are just so good on their own that they actually win me the draft. And even then I only win like 3, maybe 4 games and then I'm out. So yeah. Don't invite others. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I wanted to switch Pokemon first. Sal says, only did them to grab some free gems to have some money on getting 45 packs from Neon Dynasty. Yeah, that's cool. Sinja W says, when I used to draft, flying and removal were my usual tactics. They still are. Like, you can get very far on evasion and removal. But every draft archetype is a little bit more now they make cards specifically for draft. So wow, I did not pick a very good Pokemon for this fight, so we'll see how that goes. Now so you will have actual draft archetypes built into the set, and then you'll have cards that power up those archetypes. So as if you go in blind, you might not know what it is, or you might not fully understand what they're going for. So, it's like you can find 1,000 once the set hits. You can find 1,000 like YouTube videos of being like, here's this draft archetype, and here's the cards that you should be drafting for it. But drafting is more than that too. Drafting is drafting, and I'm very bad at like seeing signals from my opponents. They'll just be, they'll like take all the white cards, and I'm like, oh, I'm just getting all these like kind of bad white cards. I wonder why that is. And it's like, yeah, it's because my opponent's taking them all. So, you know, what are you going to do? Blue will always be a pretty strong color. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, sometimes they mess with that, but most of the time, you know, well, it's like, okay, so Neon Dynasty's coming out. If you're playing blue-black, then you're playing ninjutsu, right? Um, and ninjutsu wants removal and evasive creatures anyway, so that you can get blockers out of the way, or so you can evade blockers and then sub in your ninjas, right? So uh, the idea behind removal and evasion hasn't changed. It's just they're doing something else with it. Aside from those creatures, you need to get the creatures that are then powered up by that strategy, right? So you have to know to do that or be able to figure it out really quickly. And I am not good at figuring things out really quickly. Zal says, yeah, I'm already seeing some tips for draft for Neon Dynasty. Sure, yeah. I mean, now that the whole set has been revealed, so I'm sure that there's probably people that like just create these like virtual drafts or just draft with proxies and start kind of theorizing on what the draft um, yeah, what the draft like archetypes are going to be. How fast is it? How mana rampy is it? How aggressive is it? You know, like some people do this for a living, but me, I only kind of play video games for a living, and not really because I don't make a lot of money off of it. So I'm like, I'll figure it out eventually. I do have a draft, like an event token stored up, and I think if I get the mastery pass for Kamigawa, I'm gonna get the next, like I'm gonna get another one. So I'll probably try a couple of drafts, but I'm probably not gonna stream them because, like I said, I'm very bad at it. No, not anything. Oh, I kind of skipped through its Pokedex entry. I'd been pretty good about reading them, but I forgot. Okay. Let's see. St. JW says, my last draft was Return to Ravnica. Uh, bit out of the loop on this new stuff. Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Zal says, side note, the midweek magic this week is Cascade, and Left Game Cascade is so dirty. Oh, yeah, I usually don't play those arena, um, like those arena events. I haven't even tried them. I think the last one I tried was that kind of like jumpstarty event where you picked like a like two draft archetypes and like smushed them together. So I was like vampires and zombies or something. So yeah, I very rarely. What is that? That's another Steelix. Yeah, I don't play those very often. Horsepoint Man says, I know I'm not the most popular, but I always liked Sealed. Yeah, I like Sealed too. My wife really likes Sealed. My wife is like way better at it than I am. Um, uh, yeah, let's keep Dr. Violet because I'm more scared of the psychic side than the ice side. Um, yeah, she really likes Sealed because then you don't have to worry about signals or anything like that, right? You have the cards that you have, and you can put together a strong deck usually from that. And usually, with a sealed pool, you can make two decks, right? Because you have enough of each color that you can reasonably make a deck and then another deck. And because of the way the rules work, you're actually able to um, to do that. You can like just completely 100% play one game. If you don't like with your blue white deck, if you lose and you didn't like it, bring in your red white green that you put together from the same pool, um, and do that. And it's like sealed is one of the few like draft type or limited archetypes that that allow you to do that. Zal says they are free and get you 2 free cards and a free cosmetic for 3 total wins. So usually I will at least get my 3 wins. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. It might be fun. Yeah, this is Galarian Mr. Mime. It's not much of an improvement over the regular Mr. Mime. It's still a big creepo. Yeah, that's the regional variant of Mr. Mime. I had to look back because I hadn't heard the cat screaming for a while, so she's just asleep. Zemzi says, Mime Jr. is so cute. Mime Jr. is cute. Um, but Mr. Mime, Galarian Mr. Mime, and their evolution, Mr. Rhyme, are very creepy, in my opinion. Well, let's go ahead and try and catch this freak. Let's see. Yeah. I really appreciate the Mr. Rhyme pun. Yeah, because it's an ice type. Zal says, the only sealed I've done was Origins pre-release when I was brand new to Magic and was basically subbing in for a buddy who couldn't make it. Did terrible, pulled him two flip walkers. At least, because in Origins, yeah, the Planeswalker double-face cards. Yeah, see, you use your beginner's luck to get better cards for your friend. All right, Mr. Mime. It can radiate chilliness from the bottoms of its feet. It'll spend the whole day tap dancing on a frozen floor. I mean, not the creepiest entry we've seen so far. Yeah, here's a story. Hang on. I don't know if this is a good story or not, but I'll tell you guys the story. So a long time ago, when I was living in Kansas, I would go to this game store that was run by one of my friends. They were working very hard to keep the game store going. It was also a coffee place and also an Aikido dojo because this guy was an Aikido practitioner. So basically, this kid liked Magic the Gathering, Aikido, and coffee and just kind of made a thing that was all 3 at the same time. It was very strange, but that's not really all that relevant to the story. So one day I show up. It's for either Khans of Tarkir or Fate Reforged for a pre-release. And there's this little boy just hanging out there. Just like... And like talking to people about the cards and stuff. And so somebody is like, oh, are you going to play? And he's like, no, I don't have any money. And everybody's like, oh, well, too bad. So I saw him and I was like, hey, if I sponsor you, can I have some of like a card that you draft or that you get? And I told them the card that I wanted, and the card that I wanted was an uncommon, right? I'm like, you can keep all of the cards that, like, I was basically just buying this kid and into the tournament And in exchange, there it was like a red white uncommon that I wanted. So I'm like, well, if you get one, you have to give that card to me. But you get to keep all the other ones. So of course, he has to keep all his rares and everything. Um, and so he was like, really? And I was like, yep. And so we played, and at like during the tournament, the kid would just like come over and hang out with me, and it's like just fine. And he'd be like, hey, my mom's really pretty. He'd be like, my mom, she usually comes to these things. Like, my mom likes this stuff too. And I'd be like, that's cool. And I'm like, I mean, you gotta appreciate that try, right? I'm like, I have no idea how old this kid's mom is too. Like I was in my 20s at the time, and I'm like, I'm sure he can't tell how old I am, right? It's like he probably thinks that I'm like 40 because I have a full beard, right? So, yeah, I stopped going for like kind of like work and health reasons. I just like didn't always have a chance to go. So I kind of never saw this kid again. When I started going again, he wasn't there anymore. It might have moved away or just stopped going. But it's like, yeah, it's like that kid is like, oh man, how cool would it be if I had a dad who was into Magic the Gathering? I'm gonna try and hook him up with my mom. And I was like, well, it's like hats off for trying, but I wasn't gonna marry that kid's mom. I can tell you that. So that's my story about we my wife and I, because I already knew my wife. We weren't together at the time, but I already knew her, so she was like aware of this story. So we call that kid the urchin. It's like, so this is like a little card shop urchin. So this is what we call the urchin story. It's a good one, I think. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's, God, like, I mean, it's kind of rough, right? It's like, oh man, this kid like really wants that paternal figure, and it's like hanging out at a card shop. I don't know if you're gonna get it, um, but you might. You catch more flies with honey or something. I don't think that applies. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I mean, it's I don't know. It's really funny. I actually think about that kid a lot. I'm just like, man, I hope that little urchin is doing well. You know. Let's see. Don't invite others. I'll try to do it this way. You should have him on the show. No, I am not gonna put the call out there for this kid who I'm sure is probably like around, I don't know, maybe like 20 by now. Probably not quite. It wasn't that long ago, but probably getting close. Definitely solidly late teens at this point. So no, I'm not putting out the call to see if this kid wants to talk to me again and like bring up the fact that I almost became his dad. I will say it did get me like a lot of goodwill at the shop. Like the shop owner, who, like I said, was my friend, like talked to the kid. Like the kid is like, yeah, he said that I could play as long as he got to keep like a specific card. And like I think for a second he was like, oh no, like Rodrigo's fleecing this kid. Like we knew each other pretty well, so I think it's like he wouldn't think that of me, but I think he was worried all of a sudden that that's what I was doing, right? Like the friggin' NFT stuff. Like suddenly, even though you don't think this person would actually do that, you're like, oh no, is this person into NFTs? It's like, my friend was like, oh no, is Rodrigo like banking on this kid getting a planeswalker and then gonna take like like $150 card from this kid after paying like 40 bucks for him to play. And then when he's like, which card? And he's like, this card. And like I said, it was like just like a red white uncommon. He's like, oh. And then he was like, he was really happy about it. He was really nice about the whole thing. Um, this guy actually, um, like, he wants. I think he's doing okay. I've seen his uh, like the Facebook page for his store seems to be doing well enough. Um, so I think they're doing okay. Um, but he wanted his shop to be like a good safe place for the community, right? And he wanted to build that community, so he would like his drafts were very cheap. Like basically he would you could draft that like basically almost at cost. He would make very little profit from them. Cuz, that's how you get people into your shop. You offer a draft, you offer a cheap draft, and like people would come in and play. And I think more than once he let people play for free, but for some reason I think he was like really feeling the crunch at this time. So he didn't let the kid play for free. But I think he would have if he had the opportunity. St. JW says, or let's see. Zemzi says, kid doesn't even remember you. He might not. Yeah, because since I didn't become his dad, he may very well just not remember me, right? Which is fine. Like, I wouldn't be upset if that kid didn't remember me. Mazur D says, you were the mysterious benefactor at the start of that kid's heroic journey. Let's hope, right? Let's hope that that kid became a decent Magic player or just like a decent person, and that I had a little bit to do with that, right? That kid, Brian Kibler, probably not. St. Jadoli says, I've had people buy my stuff from a random kid's Christmas list where I work. We always check with the parents first to make sure they're okay with it. Yeah, that's nice. Horsepawn Mine says, I don't know enough about laws to make this statement confidently. This is going to be a good comment. I don't know enough about laws to make this statement confidently, but I've often thought game stores should be run as non-profit community spaces with shops to help supplement income. I feel like so many of them are big community spaces. So the thing is, like, non-profit places are allowed to sell certain things, and food is certainly one of them. I don't know about cards, but you could have like a youth center that probably can convince the government to let it spend money on cards and then have free drafts for kids. You would always be under the microscope, though. It would be tough. You'd really have to make it work. Oh, by the way, starting something off with I don't know enough about laws reminds me I put in a quote feature. So if you do exclamation quote, I think, yeah, we're not torturing dogs here, right? Some of you remember that quote from when I said it like a few weeks ago. So you can, to add a quote, I think you do exclamation add quote. Let's see. I don't know enough about laws to make this stay. I guess I could have just copied and pasted it. That would have been smart. And Lee. Dot dot dot. Correspond mine. Successfully added quote number 3. Okay, so the way I have it set up, it has like the setup can be like either only me or like only admins and me, and then it doesn't have anything for like either subscribers or followers. It just has a thing for regulars, and I don't know what that means. So if you ever have a quote and you try to add it and it doesn't let you, just let me know and I'll try to add it. So that's something that you can do now. You can put in exclamation mark quote, and it'll give you quote number. For example, it'll give you a random quote. You might be able to do it by numbers too. Oh, there might be. Sorry, I just did it, so there might be like a little bit of a delay trigger. Give it a second, try it again. So yeah, you might be able to do something like quote 1 or something like that to see a specific quote, but then you'd have to remember which quotes are which. So that would be more complicated. Yeah, try it again. Let's see. I'll just use a great ball. It's not doing it? Okay, somebody else besides Horse Pawn Mine try it. Did I not? Hang on. Log in. Okay. Yeah, I think there's let me check. There's probably straight up a like little delay trigger just to keep people from spamming it. Where are my CloudBot quotes? Okay. Commands. Oh, yeah, it's a default command. Giveaway quotes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it didn't let you do it. Let's see, advance. Oh, it has a 10-second cooldown, I think. Yeah. So there's add quote. Yeah, I guess you can't do individual numbered quotes. You just have to throw out you just have to throw a quote in and hope for the best. So yeah, there's a 10-second trigger delay there, just so that it doesn't get spammed, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of fun. So if you guys hear me or someone else say something, you can try to add the quote. Absolute worst case scenario, I don't like it and I remove it later, you know. But yeah, go for it. Again, regulars can do that, so if for some reason it doesn't work, I can try and do it for you. Let's see, Lipard. This stealthy Pokemon sneaks up behind prey without making any sound at all. It competes with Thievul for territory. Would you like to give it a nickname? No. Oh, there we go. Yeah, sometimes you just have to wait for the robot to do it. You like Lipard? I've never really played with Lipard. Because either there are like some other dark types that I want to do, like Pamchan or something. Or they're kind of in the same, or there's like a similar dark type around like Thievul. So I had a Thievul in my party for a little bit, and that kind of prevented me from having a Lipard in my party for a little bit. And then I just kind of never went back and played with Lipard. Oh, Zal subscribed at Tier 1 for 3 months. This is your 3rd month subscribing. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like, this is great. Fantastic. Drinks all around. Just kidding. I can't afford drinks. That's why I need people to subscribe like this. No, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Oh, I did not mean to run into that guy. He is gonna wreck me. I need to run. What level is it? Oh, level 40, actually. See, this is why I should have retrained it to have flamethrower. Let's swap Pokemon and see if we survive. Like, this should be fine. Let's see, Steel. I didn't bring my Fire type, of course, so we'll have to do Water type. Oh, wait. No, it's a Grass type. This is a terrible idea. Good, you just keep doing Iron Defense. I feel like I could potentially beat this guy, but I'm actually just going to run away from it because this is actually a really bad typing. Like, anything Steel, unless I have Peppers on the team, I'm not going to be able to do it. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to Ballon Lee. So regular is a rule the bot sets by default to anybody who subs, but I believe there is a way to do it manually as well. Okay, I'll look into it. I mean, whatever it is probably fine. You know, it's like, you know, but like, it's like I don't think Nate's been to. It's like I know Nate-O, but he probably hasn't been here very often. So I would like for him to be able to do it without having to go through all the trouble. But then again, I guess he's subscribed, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I guess that's not an issue. Yeah, it would suck if you show up, subscribe, and then it doesn't let you, right? So anyway, you guys know that's available now. I'm kind of slowly adding things to make this like a functional Twitch channel. There you go. I don't know enough about laws to make this statement confidently, ... Oh, by the way, if I quote you on a quote and you want me to take it down, I will of course take it down. I don't want to embarrass you or anything. Ew. Oh, well there you go. I'm glad. So, turning back to Pokemon, I've been talking a lot about how I really like the trainers in this. I don't know if you guys saw my my Fakemon world that I made. And the idea there is that kind of like how here in Galar the trainers are sports stars in this region that I was working on. I don't know if I ever named it. In this region, trainers were specifically pillars of the community, right? Yep. It was the one based in Mexico, or yeah, supposed to be like Mexico. Let's save here. So the reason for that is that when you look at these stadiums and stuff, and like they're really cool, and they have all this cool imagery, but you never have any reason to go back to them, right? You never have any reason to go back to any place where you've already been. So I thought maybe you could do something like the maybe the first gym or second or whatever is a normal type dog trainer, right? So he has like a bunch of normal dogs as like the Pokemon that he uses, but he is also the breeder, right? Like he basically runs the Pokemon daycare where Pokemon are just found holding eggs, right? Because Pokemon doesn't want to tell us that your Bulbasaur spent all night boning a Ditto, I guess. Sorry, that was rude. So yeah, then you can have a cool looking stadium like Ballon Lee Stadium. That actually continues to pull the players towards it. Um, yeah, like the ghost. So in this place, in this region, the um, fossils are not, you know, transmogrified through science into rock type Pokemon. Instead, some um, like psychics or spirit people like coax the spirit of the thing out of the Pokemon. So instead, they're ghost types. So if you have a probably only the local one, although that would be a cool way to have some variant fossils, right? If you come in with an Ammonite fossil, and there's like your like local variant of an Ammonite is um, a ghost type, ghost water type, right? Something like that. Wow, Twitch decided to save me from Rodrigo saying what the Bulbasaur was doing all night, or my ISP has. Did it did it glitch, or like did it bleep me? Um, so yeah, right. I thought again, sort of like the idea that gym leaders can be more than gym leaders, right? That here they're sports stars. Oh, you guys are getting stream starters. Ah, that's too bad. Um, my performance, it says 12.4% drops frames. Is that a lot? It says my stream quality is good. Um, but yeah, right. So it's like you have had like we have had um, gym leaders be important to the plot, right? You'll have like somebody in the Elite Four is a character that you meet early on, and they're kind of a badass. I mean, Leon is important to the plot in Sword and Shield, right? And he's like the champion that you have to fight at the end. So, um, aside from that, though, to have them be a little bit more integrated into the world, um, Sun and Moon did that a little bit with like the. Are they kahunas? Are each of them kahunas? I don't remember. But yeah, basically the people that challenge you are not necessarily the like bosses of that island, but they're like the Pokemon liaison to that island. So in that sense, they have some sort of additional role besides just sitting there in a gym, like holding a punching bag while like a little Squirtle is like Squirtle, 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 punching at it. Um, well, there you go. I have said that I wanted this stream to be family friendly, so Twitch is holding me to that. Um, so hopefully the stutters have stopped. We're gonna wrap here in a little bit anyway. But yeah, that's my one of my many ideas about like what I would do if I was in some sort of um, if I was in some sort of position to influence Pokemon would be something like that where um, like you could have some that are relevant stuff and some that make sense to be in the community even if they're not. Like I thought it would be fun if like the poison gym was like a sewage treatment plant. Um, Not necessarily any reason to go back to that, but you can be like, okay, here's a place that this actually occupies in the community, right? Like, yeah, this is a Pokemon gym, but that's more of a side thing. What it does is like provide people with like clean water out of their faucets, right? So that's something like that. We've kind of seen that in that I think electric gyms on at least one occasion, if not multiple occasions, are themselves power plants, right? So that's something, right? It's like they have done stuff like that, but it's not even with throughout everybody. Like if they are community leaders, then it could add to post game content. Absolutely. So one thing I thought, so my thoughts were as follows. I think, I'm trying to remember, the psychic type leader gives you a little Pokemon, which was one of the little Fakemon that I made, that allows you to teleport. So instead of like flying, you teleport, which also explains why you can only teleport to places you've already been, because they can just tell you that. You can only teleport to places you've already been. In Sword and Shield, it doesn't make any sense why you can't just take a taxi to any city, right? Because that's how flying works in Sword and Shield. You take a taxi. Same thing in like Sun and Moon, where you like ride a Charizard, right? Is like what's preventing you from going some places you haven't been? And I know that you get sore later on, so that's cool too. Um, but yeah, so the Psychic Gym allows you to teleport, and that gives you your ability to fast travel. The normal gym is the daycare or the breeder. Um, the ground gym is like run by like a dirt bike guy, like it's a dirt bike track, and they're the ones that give you your bike, right? So, and possibly have something like the balloon popping or like race stuff, right? So you can go back to the ground gym and take these challenges to ride your bike faster, right? Things that are always in Pokemon that I personally never use, but could be cool to have. Um, and definitely, post game content is something that could be added to this. It would be fun if like each gym went back and provided some form of post game content, right? Whether it was like gauntlet battles, or yeah, something where you like rode your bike, or like Pokemon beauty or talent contest, which is something that they've had in the games before. Um, Horsepawn Mine says, so when does Game Freak come calling? I want this game like yesterday. Yeah, it's a lot of fun coming up with it. Actually, I came up with a lot of stuff for it. I was saying that I wasn't gonna have regional variants. Instead, there were gonna be something else. I think you can have both. You can do regional variants and you can do other things. And what this thing were, I was calling meanie Pokemon. Like they're mean, not like they're tiny, like they're mean. And basically, there's this team that's um, like altering Pokemon to turn them into something else. So you would keep running into the bad guys, and the bad guys have these, like bad guy variant Pokemon. And I thought that would be a lot of fun. And of course, you'd get like you would eventually get that ability to use that, and you yourself could breed your own bad guy version of Pokemon. And same deal. Like they would have like different stats. My idea was that like since I want to say, yeah, the Black and White generation, since it's the least popular one, to since that's the least popular generation, to have them like originate in, it's not Unova. What's the black white region? I forget. Honestly, a gym being a dirt bike track sounds awesome. I thought so. Yeah. So when you play Pokemon, the bad guys tend to have these particular Pokemon, right? And they have like Houndooms and Camerupts and Galarian Zigzagoons and things like that. Like they have these very specific Pokemon. So this would give the bad guys these unique Pokemon that you don't have access to at the beginning, basically until you figure out what they're doing. Unova is black and white, right? Yeah, I think it is. So yeah, so this team originates in Unova somehow. Clearly, I'm not like very up with Pokemon stuff. I think there's already been another Pokemon team whose deal was that they wanted to genetically manipulate Pokemon. So this can be another version of that, although I don't think they're from Unova. So, whatever. We can figure it out. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So yeah, maybe we can do both mini Pokemon and regional variants for this place, and we could do some stuff with that if it was ever going to happen. These are just kind of like fun thought exercises. I think as long as you don't kill yourself doing it, as long as you don't spend so much time that you feel bad that something's not going to be anything, coming up with stuff like this is helpful. It like helps to exercise your world building. If you put it online, it gets people to reach out and talk to you about it. Horsepawn Mine says, yeah, it's Unova. Okay, thanks. Um, so, yeah, this stuff is fun. Um, stuff that I come up with for this is stuff that I can actually use for other stuff. Like when I was putting together the Void Saga, um, or going through the process of GMing the Void Saga, there were a lot of times where I had an idea for something else, and I was like, well, that works here, and I'm not currently working on that thing. That thing's probably not actually going to be something that I work on professionally. So I'm just going to use that idea, right? And I would move that idea, clean it up, change it up, and use it there. That's something that you can do, and it's something that's like perfectly legal, right? You're just kind of ideating and creating something. Just that process kind of gets you, um, can get you thinking about that stuff. All right. Is there something else about the chat that I needed to talk to you guys about? Obviously, you guys know about like the hype and pog commands. Oh, there's also like follow age. I mean, I've only been doing this for a little while, so also I don't know how long of a that one I think probably does have like a longer trigger or like a longer cooldown time. But yeah, you can do exclamation mark follow age to see how long you've been following this channel. Horsepawn Mine says, I really love the bits of Tallest Rabbit that made it into the Void Saga. I mean, that's a good example, right? It's like I had come up with this separate idea about rabbits, and then I was like, well, I'm probably not going to do anything with this, so I put it in the Void Saga. And then I was like, oh, I actually have the, like, momentarily, there's like time, motivation, and ability to work on this book. So yeah, there is a weird little shared bit of stuff between the Void Saga and Tallest Rabbit. Not really canonical, right? It's like in the Void Saga, Bravest Rabbit could actually like transform into a human. I don't necessarily, and use the sword to stab people. Like, I don't know that necessarily goes with the Tale of Tallest Rabbit, but yeah, there's that clear thing where you can see, like, obviously the same author came up with both of these things, right? Yeah. So Zemsi, there's a character in, yeah. So Horsepoint Mine says, in the Animal Allies arc of Lords of the Feywild, Rob plays Bravest Rabbit, and Eldest Rabbit is an NPC. Yep, so in Tallest Rabbit, I explicitly called the oldest rabbit in the Warren Oldest Rabbit so that there could be some, you don't have, like, if you want to put it together in your mind and see this link between them, that's fine. But if you don't, you also don't have to, right? So they could be two different rabbits. So that's something that's available to you if you want to create a Rodrigo multiverse, but don't, because it's, I'm definitely someone who is like, I want to do something that has different themes to it, right? I want to do something that is like more for kids, or that is funnier, or that is weirder, or that it's like, I don't know, just something else. And so a lot of the time, the different stuff that I make isn't going to necessarily fit together very well. But yeah. Greenest Rabbit was fun. Yeah, I like Greenest Rabbit a lot. My wife actually made a... Oh, since we're talking, give me a second. I'll go grab it and I'll show it to you guys. Shouldn't take very long. I'll be right back. Oh, let me get the... Here we go. All right. So, my wife made. Hang on, let me move my window here. So my wife made me before the book came out. I uh, I had shared the book with her so that she could like give me her opinion on it. So as a gift, she made me. I'm trying to get it so that you can see. So this is wood. So she made like a wooden book with like a carving, and it's kind of hard to tell, but like here's Monique and here's Lentil. This is something that looks a lot better if you look at it in person. Obviously, there's nothing in the back. Yeah, it's really awesome. And then on top of that, she made kind of individual entries for each of the stories, like made a little thing. So it's like this book obviously looks a lot better than the actual book that I put together, right? Yeah, it's really hardcore. It was a really great gift. Chocolad. Um, so so yeah, it was good times, and yeah, it was a really thoughtful thing to do. Just like so much work that went into it, right? Which was also felt very nice because I put a lot of work into Tallest Rabbit, right? So yeah, it was a really really thoughtful thing, and my wife's always doing stuff like that. Um, as you as I as you probably know by now, because I bring it up every once in a while, my dog died a little while back, so um, for Christmas, my wife made a little ornament with my dog's picture in it, and it was super cute. And it's like, yeah, this is like keeping a shrine to your dead dog, like I totally want to do, is a little weird, right? People will walk in and be like, where are all these pictures of this dog? It's like, oh, well, my dog died, and I still want to have these, like, make ofrendas to my dog or whatever, right? But like that's something that we can do if every Christmas we have a little ornament with Akaya's face on it. It's like, oh, that's, it's like it's back there on the tree. We can see it. If somebody else sees it, they probably aren't going to know what it is, and it's fine. So it's like, I thought it was a really good idea. So yeah, my wife is always thinking up stuff like that, and she's very crafty. Like, I feel like I'm very good, like, conceptually. Like, I'm creative. I can come up with like some good concepts, um, and I can even like innovate or like iterate in a way that is like good. I think I have a lot of trust in my ability to be creative abstractly. But I am absolute garbage when it comes to like actually like making something. Like, I didn't do it very much when I was a kid. I was always bad at it, and the teachers always yelled at me. So I'm like, I never got good at it. I never wanted to do it. Like making like a little house out of like tongue depressors or whatever. Um, it's like I was just always like I'm just always very bad at it. But my wife has like a really good sort of mechanical ability to just do things. Uh, she can paint, she can draw, she can like make physical things. She does bookbinding, obviously. Um, Saint JW says we have a kind of shrine to our dog that died in 2020. Yeah, I mean, we still do too. We basically have um, a picture of her up on a bookshelf, and then there's like a little purple bag, um, like a purple paper bag, and like her ashes are in there. So not loose. They're inside a little bag that's inside a little like uh, a little wooden box. So it's like, yeah, there's a shrine, and it's kind of out of the way because again, like it's weird when you walk into a house and it's like we're in mourning because our dog died, right? So it's like, okay, well, nobody has to deal with that. Like the guy who comes in to fix our heater doesn't have to deal with that, but we know it's there. So But anyway, my wife's very talented, and her mom's very talented. Her mom used to do signs. Like people would be like, "Make a sign for my shop," and she would just freaking do it by hand, and it's like incredible, right? It's like some people just have such like amazing ability to like do things, like actually physically do things with their hands. Um, we used to, I hope this is interesting that I'm just like going off on like a tangent of like art. Um, we used to, when I used to work at PBS, we would air some programming. Um, Horsepoint Mind says, I'm always amazed by people with a gift for physical visual arts. Yeah, definitely. Um, we used to run this thing when I worked at PBS, which was a scrapbooking show. And so, you know, it was a couple ladies, and they'd like cut stuff out and make little scrapbooks, and they'd show you how to do it and where to find, you know, good and or cheap um, materials for your scrapbook. And I remember one time I was watching it, and this lady is like, "Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna cut out these like circles out of construction paper, like easy peasy, just cut out some circles." And she goes and she has like a, you know, this like rectangular piece of construction paper, and she cuts out, like she just like turns it, and she cuts out a perfect circle. And I'm like I was just sitting there like, did anybody else just see that? Like that seems, that like blew my mind that somebody could just do that, right? Just have like the both the hand-eye coordination, mechanical aptitude, and like and also like muscle memory, right? Obviously, the muscle memory too, that they've done it lots of times in the past, to just cut out a perfect, like, you know, something that is like very close, if not dead on, a perfect circle, without guidelines, without what do you call that little thing that you spin around, like a compass? Um, yeah, without any of that, it's pretty amazing. Zal says, like, my hands don't work that way. No, mine don't either. Zemzi says, I can't even draw a perfect circle using a guide. Yeah, exactly. It's like forget drawing a perfect circle. Like, cutting out a perfect circle with no guide is just like... And even with a guide, right? Even with a guide, you have to, like, really know what like angle and speed to turn it to based on the scissors you're using and your own ability. It's incredible. Running Klepto says true magic that. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, there were lots of good shows on PBS that I probably would never have watched if I wasn't working at PBS. There are also lots of terrible shows like Caillou. But yeah, I definitely Steven and I have spent a lot of time bitching about Caillou on the show, so don't necessarily want to get started on that. Horsepawn Mind says I used to do some puppetry, and the only time I ever made something good was when like I stopped trying very hard and went on pure vibes. That's fair. So I draw a lot, so my drawings are like okay. Um, and again, if you saw my Pokemon thread, like I was drawing all of these Pokemon. And when it comes to like drawing little monster guys, it's a lot easier, right? I wasn't like trying to do it like too hard in the Pokemon style, because that's very specific. But something kind of like that, right? So it's like I can like free draw like a monster, right? Like a weird monster that's like weird and funny looking or whatever. It's like that's not a problem, and I can do it without planning it ahead of time, because I know I've drawn enough like weird monsters. But if it's like draw a person in like a specific set of clothing and like wearing a hat, I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. Like that's like it looks like super like stiff and wooden, and the hat doesn't sit right on the head. So yeah, it's, you know, there are things that I can kind of do with that sort of like Zen sense, but they're very limited. And I can't draw like a card to save my life. Horsepawn Mind says, I used to do some. Oh no, I already. Okay, cool. We already read that. I think I have a puppet somewhere. There's a puppet. Yeah. Hopefully it's not full of spiders in here. What do you guys think? Should I incorporate this into the stream? Hey guys, I'm here to steal the spotlight from Smokey the Smoke Detector. Yeah, it's a pretty good puppet. I don't know. I might use it for something. Maybe something specific like for donations or maybe for raids. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of ways of making this channel like a full-on Twitch channel where interesting and weird and wacky things happen. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, yeah, definitely is a bit. I'm not going to like constantly have him out and be like, "Hey, Rodrigo, you're doing really badly at this game." Shut up, Jeff. Yeah, so I'm not gonna be doing that, but yeah, something that can come out every once in a while. I follow this this other creator whose screen name is Dirt Nymph, which is a very good handle. And she has a jar of dirt, and like if you subscribe or follow or whatever, she like shakes it, and it's like, yeah, that's good. You know, it's like obviously it's not something I would do, and like apparently she said that like some other guy whose name was like Fox something had like a little plush fox that he would now shake because of that, and I'm like, I mean, maybe you could do something else with the fox. Why do you have to shake it? You know, it's like shaking a jar of dirt like makes a specific noise. What is it? Shaking a plush fox doesn't do anything. Oh well. Anyway, Rodrigo talks via the puppet for points. That's actually not a bad idea. Oh, Life's a pitch just
Sub for
subscribe.
full-time puppet channel. I'm guessing I missed the main chunk of the stream, but I support this bold new direction.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I probably could redeem that for points. What do I even have? Highlight my message, unlock a random sub, send a message, choose an emote. Oh, switch to Spanish. That's one we can do. Modify a single emote. Hats off. That means I put something on my head, although I don't think I have any hats handy. Don't buy them now, because the stream's about to wrap up. My NPR boys and stories about Kansas. You guys earlier on, you guys got a story about Kansas for free. Nobody even have to spend any points. That urchin story happened in Kansas. See, if you're just getting here now, you missed the urchin story. You're gonna have to go back. Although, people seem to like it, so I think I'm gonna try to like basically clip that and put it on YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, again, it really sucks because I watch Twitch very late at night, because that's what I do at work when my clients aren't around, or when my clients are asleep. And so anytime I finish my stream and I'm like, maybe I'll do a raid, like no one that I follow is around because they're all like kind of late night people. And I mostly stream in the afternoons. And even then, when I stream at night, it's so late at night, right? It's like like midnight to 2 a.m. Pacific time. That's like basically wake up time in the East Coast. So no one's ever I can never raid any channels because I just don't have that around. Zal says, I was looking at the points when I got it, and when you started the story, I did think hey, we're getting a freebie. Yeah. I mean, you guys know me. You've heard me on lots of shows. If you get me started on a story, I just, there's kind of no stopping me. Yeah, that's a very Zemsi says that's a very specific time to stream. Yeah, it's not a dead zone. I actually think I was getting actually way more people when I was streaming late at night. Because yeah, all of these Europeans that stop by and they're like, hey, cool, okay, bye, I gotta go to sleep because it's like 1 a.m. here. It's like when you flip it, it's noon over there. So or it's like very early in the afternoon, so everybody's like, oh yeah, I'll watch this, cool. So that's cool. Um, but anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap the stream up. Um, Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much for the subs today. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Um, you know, it takes some work. I'm trying to make it better. I'm trying to get the subtitle thing worked out. I'm trying to figure out what to do with that puppet. Um, Trying to figure out, good content to make for the channel, and that carries to the YouTube channel as well. Right now, the majority, or I think literally everything on the YouTube channel is, which is Lopez Family Variety Channel. The majority of stuff on there are clips from this stream, right? So one thing that we might start doing soon, and by we I mean you guys and me, is to just straight up generate content for it. Just like, play video games for a little bit, and then I'll be like, okay, we're gonna do a YouTube video, and then I'll like talk about a topic that I wanted to talk about, and you guys can jump in and stuff, and that'll be like the purpose of that will be to have recorded that for YouTube. So we'll see how that works. I'm like, basically this whole thing I kind of stole from video game streamers, right? And especially fighting game streamers. That's what they do, is like they start the stream, they play for a little while, and then they make videos, like just straight up go like 3, 2, 1. Here's a YouTube video, go. Have you guys ever noticed how, when grapplers go like, they're more stupid than usual, basically? So yeah, we might start doing that too. So thank you so much for coming on this adventure with me. YouTube clip channels are very popular, yes, but usually they belong to more popular people than me as well. But we're trying it. We're going to do it all. And you guys get to come along for the ride, whether this flies or it crashes and burns. It's going to be a good time, I think. All right, I'll catch you guys later.